The following is an AZPM original production.
Arizona Science is supported by Research Corporation for Science Advancement.
For Arizona Public Media, I'm Tim Swindle, Professor Emeritus of Planetary Science at the University of Arizona, and this is Arizona Science. Joining me today is Vishnu Reddy, a professor in the university's Lunar and Planetary Laboratory. Welcome, Vishnu.
Nice to be here, Tim.
Vishnu, you've been deeply involved with a project known as the International Asteroid Warning Network, or IAWAN. I believe you're called the manager now. Why do we need an asteroid warning network?
Well, we've been impacted by asteroids in the past. If you go back in geological history, we can see that, every great mass extinction on the Earth was triggered by some kind of an external force, typically an asteroid or a comet impact. And if you go outside and look at the moon, you can see the evidence of these impacts in impact craters. So we want to be ready for the next big impact so that we are not, like the dinosaurs. We don't go extinct. So we want to create a network, kind of a coalition of the willing, so they can all come together when the time comes, so then we can work together to protect the Earth no matter where the impact happens.
What does the network actually do, or what will it do in case there's an asteroid incoming?
We don't want to wait for the actual asteroid impact to happen for the network to get activated. And also we do what we call as campaigns. So kind of like war games or exercises, we pretend that there's an asteroid going to come our way, and how we would go about coordinating observations with telescopes on the Earth and in space, taking those observations and converting them to useful information that can be fit into models that would predict what would happen if it were to hit somewhere along the impact corridor.
How much lead time are we likely to have if there is going to be an impact of a hazardous asteroid?
In planetary defense, time is your best friend. The more time you have, the better off you are in terms of preparing for a response to it. So typically, we're hoping that we would have in the order of decades. So that would help us plan a mitigation strategy, whether it's an active mitigation like the DART mission had done a few years ago, where you can nudge the asteroid off course. So that would be the best case scenario. For shorter scale impacts, so for example, Chelyabinsk, which was this 20-meter object that exploded over Russia, we didn't have much time. But if we were to detect a Chelyabinsk-type object, say a week from impact, we would ask people not to go close to the windows when the flash happens, or stay away from windows, or do evacuations preemptively if we're concerned about people getting injured.
You mentioned that asteroids can happen anywhere on Earth, so this has to be international. How many signatories do you have in IAWAN?
Right now, we have 81. So we are growing. Every time there is a close approach of an asteroid, we get more signatories. Signatory doesn't mean that they just sign up and they just wait. They have to actively contribute some aspect of the planetary defense life cycle to the effort.
How did you get involved with IAWAN?
I think it started off like in 2016. We had a planetary defense meeting in the Kuiper Space Science building here. And till that point, we were doing a lot of tabletop exercises for planetary defense. In other words, we will sit in a conference room for 3 or 4 days, and we'll pretend something is going to come and hit the Earth. We'll have, representation not just from NASA, but also FEMA and other federal agency, and we will play this, game of asteroid impact. And I think we work with everybody. There's no friend or an adversary in IAWAN, right? It affects everybody. So I like the international aspect of it to coordinate. It's kind of like herding cats, working with scientists. But at the same time, it's different from science. Science gives you time to sit, think, marinate on the data, and come to an interpretation. But we cannot do that when the fate of the Earth is in question here. So we have to turn the observations around in a 24-hour cadence, even sometimes shorter than that.
How many of these campaigns have you run?
So we've done 6. We're coming up doing 2 more this year, which is the first time we're doing 2 at the same time. Near-Earth objects includes near-Earth asteroids and near-Earth comets. So for the first time, we're also doing a comet campaign.
Well, thanks for working on this project, and let's hope that the network works well enough that if and when a truly dangerous asteroid is discovered, the nations of the world will be able to deal with it.
Yeah, thank you, Tim, for having me.
Our guest today has been Vishnu Reddy, a key player in the International Asteroid Warning Network designed to deal with the possibility of an asteroid impact. This is Tim Swindle, and you have been listening to Arizona Science. You can also listen to this and other Arizona Science segments by going to the AZPM website at azpm.org.
Thank you to Research Corporation for Science Advancement for their support of Arizona Science. AZPM podcasts are made possible in part by donations from listeners like you. Learn more at support.azpm.org. Thank you.